history, and with it, of course, European football secured for next season. 19 years on from that 0-5 triumph under Paul Doolan, Kevin Doherty will be bringing the cup back to Boyneside.
Well, it's a hell of a way to warm up for a promotion-relegation playoff next Saturday against Bray at Tallaght Stadium. Drogheda FAI Cup champions at the Aviva Stadium yesterday. Sean O'Connor of the Irish Independent was there. Sean, hello.
Joe, how's it going?
Very well. Good day?
Great day. Really, really enjoyed it. Just occasion-wise, storyline-wise, Drogheda winning just their second cup in their history, first in 19 years. It kind of felt like a day packed with storylines. I suppose we'll come on to Derry as well, but the day belonged to Drogheda. I don't think many people gave them a chance coming into this game. Derry, strong favourites. A lot of that squad had won the cup in 2022, beaten Shells. A lot of the squad have won previous cups. A couple of players won it with Dundalk, going back through the years. And they were massive underdogs coming into this game, but talking to a few of the players in the lead up to it, in the league, Drogheda are kind of tagged as underdogs for most games. Obviously, one of the last remaining, they're kind of hybrid, part-time. Now they're moving closer towards a full-time setup. But the underdogs tag suited them, and they certainly didn't play like underdogs on Sunday. Absolutely brilliant performance. Every player knew their job 100%, did it to a T, and lifting a first cup in 19 years. And I suppose we'll come on to the storylines as well, but just occasion-wise, it was a brilliant day.
Yeah, 38,700 through the gates. That's 1,000 more than turned up for the Ireland-Greece game in September. So again, this kind of date in the calendar now is very much ensconced and established. I don't know, like, it'll never drop below this kind of attendance level again, I suspect, which is great.
Hopefully not. Yeah, 38,000 there. Obviously, 5,000 less than last year's final. But of course, last year you had Pats and Bows, 2 Dublin clubs. So it was a record attendance for non-Dublin clubs in the final. It was the first final in a good few years not involving Dublin clubs. But just, you look at the growth of the league, we were talking about it during the week, the last few years. You look back to 10 years ago, Derry played Pats in the final and there was 17,000 there. And you fast forward 10 years later, they're almost hitting 40,000. It's been an absolutely incredible rise of the league in popularity post-COVID, and it's obviously been touched on before, but it really feels like a massive day in the calendar now, not just for the sides involved, but just for the neutral as well.
I think so. And that, like, a huge underdog in Drogheda against Derry, no Dublin club involved. In terms of sellability, it wasn't an especially marquee matchup, and still they hit basically the 40,000 mark again. So it's very, very promising. You mentioned storylines. Like, it is amazing, and it's a consequence of the access the league provides that you get to know a lot of these stories. You know, you see even Dan in the paper, in the build-up, he jumped in on the carpool. The boy band, yeah. And like, but they're into it, the Drogheda players, and they're taking a selfie of them all in the car. And as you said, it's still a hybrid of amateurism and professionalism, one of the kind of last League of Ireland clubs straddling that line at the moment. But like somebody like Shane Farrell, who I know you were writing about, it just jumps off the page. It's just a great openness to how these players talk. So he has won the league this season because he's on loan from Shelbourne, and now won the cup as well. So the only player in the country to have done the double. And
permanent from Shelbourne.
Permanent. Oh, so he made a move. Okay, I thought he was on loan. So it's a permanent move now. Okay, excuse me. So he was talking afterwards about the 2022 final where he'd play for Shells on that, very poor day where Derry had beaten them 4-0. And he had not played well that day. And the extent to which this seemed to have rattled his confidence was severe. So he was talking post-game about the win yesterday. I wanted redemption so badly. I was probably the worst player on the pitch 2 years ago. I gave away 2 sloppy goals. They were my fault. I felt like I'd let Shelbourne down, the fans down. I'd let Damien down. But before the game today, I was so calm. And in your piece, he talked about that final 2 years ago. And he said, it was the lowest moment in my career. It affected me until, well, it's probably why I got released at Shelbourne last July. It's a sad moment. I spent 6.5 years there, but my confidence was shattered after that final 2 years ago. I remember having a chat with Damien about my confidence, and he said, you just need to pick it up again and get going. I couldn't get going. Wow. Well, I mean, like, what a journey.
almost most of the Drogheda players, there's a massive backstory and storyline, whether it's, balancing football with part-time work, the redemption story, of course, of Shane Farrell, absolutely incredible. Yeah, 2 years ago, gave away 2 sloppy goals, hooked at half-time, saying it's the lowest moment of his career, getting released from Shelbourne during the summer. But he said almost when he found out the news about Shelbourne, almost straight away, Kev Doherty rang him and he said, "I absolutely love you as a player. I want you to come play for me." And he's been really impressive. Set up the first goal in the cup final, and what a difference 2 years can make.
Because I guess he could have went 2 ways. He could have had some kind of PTSD breakdown as oh my God, I'm back in the cup final, I don't want to be here. It sounds more like he was in it can't be any worse than 2 years ago, so I'm just going to go out and play vicinity, which is better, obviously.
And just something I was thinking about last night, you see elite football now and the Premier League and people on millions and millions of pounds or euros, but when you come down to it, and at the League of Ireland, talking to Shane Farrell on Sunday night, you could still see the tears in his eyes. You're talking to Dave Webster in the league, 17 years. It was his first ever cup final, and he plans to retire now after Saturday's promotion relegation playoff. You had Ryan Brennan, one of the survivors from their 2013 final defeat. Loads of different players like that, and there's a couple of Shelbourne connections as well. Gary Deeg and Ryan Brennan, ex-Shelbourne players. Conor Kane missed that 2022 final for Shelbourne with an injury. There's great storylines in each player. And we mentioned the part-time work as well. Kev Doherty worked as a postman for years and years. Dara Doyle, the assistant manager, he reads gas meters during the week before training. About half the squad work part-time and balance football and work. So just in terms of storylines, and I think nowadays in a lot of elite football, players earn so much money, and obviously winning trophies and silverware and playing, it means something to them. But when you're talking to fellas last night who balance football with part-time work, and you just see it in their eyes, it means absolutely everything to them, not just to them, but their family and the sacrifices they make. A full-time, Kevin Doherty's daughter, Izzy, ran straight to him, and they must have hugged each other for maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Kev Doherty was in absolute tears at full time. He said he didn't plan on crying on national TV, but after their semi-final win, and even last night as well, in the post-match, he's talked a lot about the influence of his late father, Liam. He died during COVID. He keeps a photo of his dad in his phone, and just the influence he had on him, and just from someone who's lost their own father as well, I kind of connected to that a lot. There was a great story after the semi-final when Kev Doherty lost the 2007 final as a player with Longford, and he was really upset that he felt like he kind of let his dad down. And when he was talking to his dad after, his dad kind of said to him, how could I, of course I'm proud of you. How could I ever be disappointed? I'm just after seeing my son play in the FAI Cup final, and just the influence of his father on his career just really hit home. And he was choking up on RT last night and things like that. So just all these little stories, it comes to the fore that it just means so much to them, and it's authentic. It's really authentic.
I'm not surprised he was choked up when you lay it out in those terms. Let's hear from him now then. So Kevin Doherty, who up until last year working in the post office, has stepped away from that to do everything he can with Drogheda. So here he is speaking post-game, the Drogheda manager.
How can you not be proud of that? You probably see the faces all right, it seems not too bad, but I told him before the game how proud about it, regardless of the result, because we were through such a tough couple of months under summer, and people were writing us off for everything. Now, this is going to be the most boring answer after a cup final win, but we have a playoff to win next week. Yeah. So, we're all staying.
Worry about it next week.
We'll enjoy tonight 100%, because we've won the FAI Cup only the second time in the club's history, which is unbelievable. First division, and Tim got us promoted, and to be doing what the lads have been doing, and for the last few years, I mean, like, you only have to look what's around us.
This year, as the only part-time team in it, it's an unbelievable achievement. It really is, Kevin. Like honestly.
I know. I'm absolutely. As I said, I'm delighted. It is. We do have, like, we're coming up against literally every other team is whatever has a lot more. But we're lucky with what I said, with Drogheda coming in. They've been brilliant with us, like absolutely brilliant. But in improving things, but that'll gradually, and things like today will certainly help. But improving gradually, and lads, we couldn't sign a player really from outside the country. Doing it. I think Sean Rona's here. We had Freddie Draper was living in his granny's last year, but now we have, like, you know, we're just doing things that clubs, professional football clubs do now. And
normally I'm here on this panel most weeks and have to remain impartial. I've never been happier in all my life.
Sure, look, again, I would have gone, and you know what, even when, obviously, I'd say I've seen the semi-final, two boys having a go.
I'm going on the European trip.
Yeah. You never know, it might be allowed.
European trip.
I know he's doing a bit of coaching now as well.
What?
He's trying to get
Don't let it out of the bag, yeah.
But look, even when the message he sent me this morning was my dad's memorial card, like, and that's why, and even now, jeez, I am an emotional fella at the best of times, but
can't be emotional now, Kev.
No, I know, yeah. It's just like having my family here, my mum.
You'd be a proud man today.
Dad and
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it? So that's Alan Cawley, who obviously knew Liam Doherty, Kevin's father.
Yeah, it was just really, really special scenes, and you had everyone at full time with their families, kids on the pitch. Special memories, but just in terms of football wise, it's an absolutely remarkable 6 days for the club after just their second cup in the club's history. Now next Saturday, there can't have been too much celebrating. They celebrate a little bit, but obviously it's all eyes towards Saturday now and that promotion relegation playoff against Bray, Tallaght Stadium, where they have to win to retain top flight status for next year. But obviously, looking ahead to next year, they now have Europe to look forward to. Their first European appearance since 2013. They go into the Conference League's second qualifying round next summer, and it's banked at the minimum €525,000 for the club as well. But Drogheda have Europe to look forward to. Derry don't.
Yeah, so their season has sort of imploded, really, hasn't it? From a month ago when they were on the cusp of maybe, I'm sure in their eyes, doing something very special. I thought Ruaidhri Higgins' comments were interesting. So he was talking about, well, he's only 40 years of age. He said, I get criticised for being emotionless at times. I hadn't realised that was a criticism he's getting. I'm an extremely emotional person. When you don't achieve, it hurts bad. It affects your life, the people around you. Do I still have the drive and the hunger to keep going? When the dust settles, my intentions right now are to keep going. We have to try and look forward. Is he under pressure for his job now in the back of this season? This criticism of being emotionless, where's all that coming from?
I say without a doubt there will be pressure. It'll be a long winter now after finishing at the start of the season one of the nailed on title contenders to push Shamrock Rovers. Not many people tipped Shelbourne, of course, for the league at the start of the season, but during the season they spent the majority of it floating between second and third, chasing Shelbourne, and
dreadful away form.
And when Shelbourne went on that run of, I think it was one win in 10 coming into the last few weeks of the season, Derry had countless opportunities to close the gap and put the pressure on. They look back to a really crucial Friday, Monday quick turnaround. They'd a double header against Bows and Sligo at home, and they drew both games 1-1. Couple of weeks later, losing away to St. Pat's in the penultimate game, and that ended their title hopes. They're still waiting for a first title since 1997, and Sunday was a chance to put that disappointment behind them, and they were really poor. They just did not show up at all, and a lot of those players had been there before, done it, won the cup in 2022, and they just started okay. Had one or two chances, but just they looked really off it. Is
there any talk of what's gone wrong this season? Any theories as to what's after happening here over the last couple of months?
They have, and I think it was referenced on Sunday that I think Ruaidhri Higgins alluded to himself in the post-match. They just seem to have an issue performing under pressure when their tails are up, when they have to get the job done. They haven't, and you see that with the countless opportunities they had to capitalise in the league. On their day, they are very, very good. And of course, they had an incredibly hard cup run to this final, knocking out defending champions St. Pat's in the first round, defeating Shelbourne at home. They had to go down to First Division champions Cork and beat them, and then in the semi-final, beating Bows 2-0 on their home patch. They did have a pretty hard, probably as hard as you could have made it, run to the cup final, but just the ability to perform under pressure, I think, and it'll be a long winter there, and the post-mortem will begin. And not having, after finishing fourth, they had to win to secure Europe. They didn't. No European football for 2025. A couple of players out of contract as well, and in the off season, Ruaidhri Higgins now will not be able to offer European football to those players.
And will he survive to next year?
I think he seems to have the backing from Philip Doherty, like, for the moment.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's still under contract as well, and obviously it's probably up to Philip O'Doherty. I think it was not telling, but a lot of the Derry sections, and I know, of course, it's a long trip home, but a lot of the Derry sections seem to filter out quite quickly, even going into the last 10 minutes of the game and shortly after as well, while Drogheda were celebrating. There's no doubt he's under pressure, but obviously it's up to those in charge.